Greetings everyone. So welcome to this very special series where I travel to Malaysia. I'm gonna show you around, but this series is mainly targeting a few episodes where I'm gonna break down how the automotive culture here works. So I was residing at Cyberjaya, but today I got here in KL mainly to rent bikes and cars together. So in this series I'm gonna break down all you need to know about their automotive scene, and especially with the roads and how the condition works here as a driver or a rider. I would like to import that cultural data so you guys can get a good feedback of how the automotives here work. So basically this place is called Tun Razak Exchange. So they have this huge shopping mall here called the Exchange. That's the mall there. I want to give a marine ride to Port Dickson, so basically I'm going to rent a bike for that reason. But otherwise the cityscape here looks amazing at KL. Huge buildings, huge towers. So that is the exit of the metro, so I'm going to walk around. Great, a CLA 35 AMG looks pretty sick. I haven't spotted much good cars in Cyberjaya, but I think in KL you get to spot really good cars. Basically I think the driving conditions at KL is also a bit better than Cyberjaya because it is more crowded here, but it is more systematic, I think. Especially the cityscape and how all these malls and everything's laid out. I think they've done a very good job with the construction of the whole cityscape and the system. Amazing. This is huge, man. Since we just got introduced to our 250cc to 350cc bike segment, I think trying to break down that culture where all these bikes are available would give us a better idea of how it operates, right? I think we have done a great job with our 150cc class, but in terms of an automotive culture, I think there's a lot to establish on our own culture, and I would try to break down how their automotive culture actually works. So this series is very special. I'm gonna give out a few episodes. Basically, I don't have a very big travel plan, but any aspect that connects the riding or driving properly to you guys, I'll try to break all this down in this series. So greetings everyone, welcome to yet another content from Throttle Alpha. It's a very sunny day and a bit humid. One thing about the weather is that at this point in time in mid-February, I think Bangladesh still has a bit of winter vibe that's going on, right? But here the heat is unbearable in the afternoons mainly, man. It's very hot, very humid. So riding in that aspect can be a serious issue here because I think the weather plays a very huge role in that aspect, right? But I have seen that mostly people here prefer to ride scooters over motorcycle. The fact that it's more accessible and user-friendly, I think that aspect makes it very available for them. And most importantly, most of these scooters have a 150cc to 200cc engine, also 125cc engine, and they're fast. Like, we have variations of scooters here which we don't have in Bangladesh. There are scooters here from Honda that has the CBR engine. There's a scooter here from Yamaha that has the R15 engine, right? I've seen sports bike. They have GPX, they have CBRs, they have R15s, they have Ninjas, a lot of Ninjas, but I think the scooter here plays a very serious role. Mostly for all ages, starting from kids to senior. Everybody prefers riding scooters, I think. At this point in place, I think this is where you can spot the really good cars and really good bikes here. I spotted a lot of Ferraris, a lot of Lambos. So where I was residing yesterday at Cyberjaya, you couldn't really actually spot such vehicles. This part is really interesting because you have a lot of things to explore around to. And you have all the collectors and branded outlets here, right? So like you have Dior there, Louis Vuitton here. So this is the part of the city where you get every branded aspects as well. But other than that, Bukit Bintang is always crowded. I think the nightlife here makes more sense. I came here during the daytime just to explore and see how it goes. Everybody, to kids to, you know, women here, everyone prefers riding scooters, right? Oh no, she was just about to fall. See? A lot of scooters. They also have classic Honda Cubs 50s, the newer ones. And moments back I just spotted this beast. This is the S1000RR. Look at this. So beautiful. So while moving down to KL, it's mostly scooters. But once you come to the city center, you get to spot these beasts. This one looks absolutely clean. So beautiful. So as I was walking past a few places in Bukit Bintang, I spotted this beautiful piece. Look at this, so beautiful. Check this bad boy out. Crazy, man. Looks super good. Especially the paint job looks amazing. Crazy. It's like this whole squad here. And this guy here drives the Italian, right? spotted this beautiful 718. Looks very good. So after a lot of traveling, thanks to Sanigiri Bhai and thanks to Arnob Bhai, I managed to rent a bike. I went to TRX Exchange, I went to Bukit Bintang. But finally, after a lot of searching, I managed to find this bike, the QJ Motor SRK 250RR. I was looking for the RD version. So basically, this is a 250cc bike. It's 25 horsepower at 8,500 RPMs and it has 24.1 Newton meters at 6,500 RPMs. This looks pretty good. So basically, I will be traveling to Port Dickson from KL. I'll go to Bukit Bintang, have some lunch and then travel to Port Dickson. So I will give a feedback of how this bike is in the urban roads and also in the highway. So basically my plan is I'm going to travel to KL and we're going to head out for a Port Dickson ride. I have a younger brother waiting there. So I'm hoping that I can put up everything about this QJ Motor SRK 250RR. I really wanted to get the RD, so sadly I did not get it. It's the 2-cylinder variant for this motorcycle. The RD is the 4-cylinder variant. So I hope this video will help you understand how the 250 to 350 variant bikes would behave. I really think that this ride will make a lot of sense because it's a lot of road and I can break everything down in detail. So inshallah, looking forward, let's see how this goes. Very sunny day. But the problem with this place is the weather changes suddenly. I hope we don't get any rain. But the weather forecast is showing that there is some rain off the ground. So let's see what happens. So this bike already feels a bit heavy. The curb weight for this bike is 175 kilograms. So this bike is not nimble at all. But the grounding for the bike is really good. And for the initial torque, I think this bike is missing out on initial torque. This bike has mid-range power to top-end power. So I think the prime specialty for this bike is the top and the mid-end power. So I just finished my lunch. So the plan for today is I really want to showcase the street scenes here. Like I will travel intercity, I will go to Port Dickson for a sunset ride. But by the time between, now it's almost 3 in the afternoon, I really want to show you how disciplined the street culture here is, how lane direction and lane sense really matters here. And the primary differentiation between our country and Malaysia is, even though we reside in the same continent, the road sense of people here are very disciplined. Usually Bukit Bintang is a bit crowdy. You always find that traffic situation here. But everybody would maintain their lanes right, their direction right, and they won't overdo anything. The bikers usually maintain the left side of the lane. So I basically have a 13 kilometers ride where I'm gonna meet a friend. And we're gonna ride to Port Dickson together. Now the torque numbers are restricted to 6,500 RPMs to the max, for which why this heavy motorcycle does not feel very torque friendly. This bike has power, but you can actually feel the torque. You see, I told you Bukit Bintang is a bit crowdy. Compared to all the other urban city roads, I think this street is a bit busy. It's a tourist-based area. So yeah, you find a bit of traffic here. Like one thing similar between our country and Malaysia is in the peak office hours or in the peak time, you find a lot of traffic. Like in our country, when the day starts, I think we have heavy traffic from 8 to 10 a.m. in the morning. The same goes for this place. And for the afternoon, like the post office time, from 4:30 to 6:30 or 7 p.m. in the evening, I think this place is massively crowded and you cannot move intercity. Huge traffic. So I think even people with their own vehicles prefer to take the metro or the MRT public vehicles. So a lot of people might question the fact that what's the point of a content series here in Malaysia. Well, I really believe we just got introduced to our 250 and 300cc segment, right? There are a lot of reasons why we need to learn our road sense a bit better. Both of our countries being in the Asian continent, we lack a lot of road sense, and I think such ideation of contents really help us understand how people abroad are doing better. We're always complaining about our roads, we're always complaining about how we ride and everything. But if we look at some place which is decently organized, it feels really good and it's something we can learn out of. One interesting fact about motorcycles here in Malaysia is it's completely toll-free and you don't need to pay for any parking here. Parking is a very big agenda, very big problem here. Like, you cannot just park anywhere. Even for now, if you've seen the whole video so far, you would see that no vehicle is parked to the left side of the road or no one stopping whatsoever, right? So this is a very important thing, that just like that you can park anywhere. Especially for cars, they have a 5 to 10 ringgit of payment in parking generally, like in households or in malls. But for bikes, it's completely free. In every intercity travel or in highway movement, you don't actually need to pay any toll here. So it's a very good thing. They have this card called Touch and Go. You can put in your payments in the card, and that card would work in your metro, work with your toll payments. It's NFC operated, so you just need to tap on the card and you're good to go. And it's very convenient to move around with motorcycles here, I must say, because with cars, beating the city traffic is a bit awkward. I'm getting all this gap in between this city traffic, and lane discipline is something these people really take seriously, man. See, you always find a scooter rider or a moped rider overtaking you. They're gonna just pop out of nowhere and overtake you. That's how they go. Such a good mountainscape. Like, once you go a bit city side, you get to see a lot of hilltop landscape. হ্যাঁ ওয়েট আছে না এই যে basically my brother, my younger brother, and also a friend. Like, we know each other for a very long time. This is a place where most of the Bengali students and Arab students reside. This block is an Arab block. So this place is called One South. This is mostly an Arab community zone, a shopping mall, but it's a food biased place where people hang out. So my brother rides a CBR 150RR, and we're taking both the QJ Motor SRK 250RR and the CBR 150RR together to Port Dickson. So basically we just made a stop for the rain. It was raining quite heavily. After we just refueled, we were heading straight to Port Dickson via this expressway, but suddenly it started raining cats and dogs, so we made a stop. Crazy, the weather suddenly shifted. It was just sunny moments back. So One South to Port Dickson is about 1 hour of a ride. I thought to tag along with Nafi because riding such a long distance is boring, and the rain suddenly hit. I did not bring my rain gears. Nafi fortunately bought his raincoat, but we did not get a time to actually put it up. I really expected a 24.1 Newton meter bike operating at 6,500 RPM, but I was expecting a bit of power from this bike. It has top and mid-end power, but the torque, it seems to miss out that gap torque. And this is a very promising motorcycle because this will show up in Bangladesh. This is very cheap here. It's about 16,000 ringgits if I'm not wrong. So for the price tag and for what it is, if you're looking for a 2-cylinder 250cc motorcycle, I think this is not much of a bad choice. And we do have official distribution for QJ Motor in our country. So I think this bike will show up very soon. Sadly, I'm not maintaining my lane principles quite right now because we are opting to reach quite fast. I don't know if we have cops ahead, but let's see where we go. Damn, that's a Triumph. So So yeah, for the top end power, I think this bike would easily do a top speed of about 155 to 160 kmph easily. For this unit, however, I think it's a rental bike and it wasn't maintained that right. So for which this bike is not performing at its optimum, but I think compared to the torque of this motorcycle, how it behaves in the top end and the middle end power, I think the torque kicks in right after the third gear and once you're done with your mid RPMs. Bikes like the GPX 250 or the CF Moto SR 250, compared to this bike, those bikes are faster in terms of torque, but this bike is heavy, this bike is grounded, and you feel more confident in the top end power. And with a 300mm front disc and the 240mm rear disc, this bike also has ABS. I don't feel any less of confident with braking. It's good with the brakes. I think for the price point, this bike is a very good highway deal. And what more would you expect from a bike this cheap, right? I think if this bike shows up in Bangladesh, the pricing might be around 390 to 420. I'm not sure though, I'm assuming. But for such a deal, I don't think this would be a bad option. I really expected a sunny afternoon. I was looking forward to go see Port Dickson and a beautiful sunset. I really don't know what I'm gonna end up with, but let's hope for the best. Raining cats and dogs. We stopped by to take a break. Such sheds are made for riders to actually stop by and take rest. The rain was getting quite critical, so we weren't able to ride. My visor was getting foggy. But good thing about this helmet is that the fogging is quite less in comparison to other helmets. This is the LS2 Dragon Carbon, and this is quite new in our market, so very comfortable, and the visor aspect is very superior. I think this comes with a pin lock 120 if I'm not wrong, but the visor is fogging quite less in comparison to other helmets, and this looks very sick. But technically this bike has very good grip in the rain, and for the weight being about 175 kilograms, I'm having quite a bit of extra confidence in the rain situation. I refueled this bike and so far the mileage looks okay. This bike was filled with RON 97 rate of fuel, and Shell stations do have racing fuel as well, and I took about 20 ringgit worth of fuel and half of the tank was filled, I guess. This bike has a 14-liter fuel tank, and all in all, I think mileage wise this bike is doing great. I haven't got a good count of it. I will let you know what the mileage is, but so far so good. I think this is the gate to Port Dickson. We just reached Port Dickson. Alhamdulillah, I thought I'd miss the sunset, but at least I could get here in time. Alhamdulillah. Wanted to actually see the sunset and spend my evening here. I was craving beach a lot for the last few days. Thanks to Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that Alhamdulillah we have reached in time. There's the beach right there. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Sunset's amazing. of good food places here, I guess. Wow, so beautiful. You have that proper beachside vibe going on. I think we made our point. At least we got here in time. Thanks to my brother here for keeping up. So thankfully we did reach Port Dickson in time, and to be fairly honest, we didn't think we'll reach in time, but absolutely both of the bikes managed to keep up. We didn't find any traffic on the way, and especially the roads and the highways were so well coordinated that you didn't need to make any stop other than the weather itself. So amazing weather here, and the rain finally stopped. And so far with the QJ Motor 250RR, I think this bike would manage to touch an ideal top speed of 160 to 65 kmph in the ideal conditions. I didn't push much, but I did maintain an average velocity. Throughout this Port Dickson highway, I think this bike could maintain 150 to 55-ish quite easily. Did you actually think we could make it in time?
I thought so, because এতক্ষণ লাগে না আসতে, but বৃষ্টির জন্য একটু I thought বৃষ্টি থামবেই না.
The bad weather mainly, yeah.
Exactly.
So the weather was pretty bad, but thankfully I don't think the stoppage time mattered because most of the highway was empty. Is this place usually busy, the highway? So yeah, that's there. We intervened the
Weekends it is.
weekends
সবাই গ্রামে যায় তো ওই টাইমে.
and Sunday.
Yeah, Saturday to Sunday.
So basically Port Dickson is mostly occupied on Sundays. But technically, for the road condition, we didn't feel much of a hassle. The weather was a bit hefty and we were not equipped for the weather. But fortunately enough, I think we maintained everything right. I'm mentioning this quite a lot, but I absolutely enjoyed the style of maintenance and discipline people have in the road. Like, this makes your riding so much easier. And for that part, I think as a rider, you get extra confidence when everybody around you is aware, right? In our country's condition, if I compared the Dhaka Cox's Bazar highway, like, this is actually a shorter ride, but in terms of longer ride, there are lorries, trucks and bigger vehicles not maintaining anything. But I did not find one vehicle here that was not maintaining the lanes. So I would put it this way, that highway riding becomes more intriguing when you have people around you being aware. So we're turning over right now to grab some coffee. See, that's how amazing the sunset looks. Amazing. I really want to take a picture badly. Just look at that view, so beautiful. We just removed the DB killer from Nafi's bike. Man, this place has great resorts. Won't lie. This is quite famous. It's called Avillion. It is very famous. Yeah. Huge parking space. A lot of resorts. This part of the road really matches a lot with our Marine Drive road. It's almost similar. The vibe, the type of texture that the road has, very similar. And compared to the expressway roads, these roads are less bumpy. Very less bumpy. I'll be here till the night time or the late evening. I'll try to figure out what they have nearby. A lot of food stalls, a lot of resorts. I did not refuel from the BHP petrol like Petron fuel stations yet. I tried the Petronas fuel and the Shell fuel. I think the Shell fuel did a lot good. And yeah, the torque map looks amazing with how the fuel behaves, man. These bikes, if it was running with our fuel, by this time now it would have at least had 4 to 5 major fuel cuts. Now we're heading to sit at some place cozy. Maybe have a cup of coffee, I don't know. But did you see how convenient the fuel stations are here? You have a convenience store with every fuel station. Some have McDonald's with it. It's so beautiful. Petronas fuel stop. Sunset bar. Nice. I would seriously want to try some seafood out. I would do that. Yeah, let's have some McD, man. So this zone has the McD drive-through sitting and also nice. এখানে মনে সব হোটেল টোটেল গুলো এই জন্য।
পাশে হোটেল না মিলি ভাই এরকম মানে সব রেস্টুরেন্ট এর হোটেলগুলো যে রেখে আসছি আমরা
পিছনে। Yeah, this place also has Starbucks. You have the McDonald's drive-through right ahead of this place. I don't know if it's seemingly visible from this angle, but this is where I think all the people come to hang and chill. So we've just reached this beachfront. This place looks very pretty. So the whole beach is stretching from that point till this far. Initially we stopped to that side. I think we traveled this far. We were just chilling by Port Dickson. And the beach at night is absolutely amazing. This resort was very, very beautiful. We took a ride by the side. We're done with seeing Port Dickson, and this place is a bit crowdy. This cafe is called Coffee and Cuisine. So they basically have a big coffee layout here and a villa. So there's a villa area where people come and chill out. So at this point in time, we're heading back, mainly enter the city. My QJ still has a lot of fuel left. I don't think the mileage is anywhere lower than 30 to 33 kilometers per liter at least. Otherwise the fuel count would have been lesser by now. I don't think the engine heating was anything abnormal. It was quite optimum. The nightlife at Port Dickson is not very party centric. Like you cannot compare Langkawi to this place, but it's very subtle. This place is calm. We're heading for the highway right now. I'm really eager to see the Port Dickson to city ride, like how well the lighting for the highways are. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. When we're traveling in our expressways basically and roads of such kind, I think that our road conditions are a bit more lit up. I think I will find places which are well lit and places which are not well lit. So that is one issue, because this bike does not have a good headlight, and highway riding at the night time might be a bit risky in this term. So we're basically done riding for the day. We got back from Port Dickson to 1 South moments back. We had our food. So right now I'd be heading to Cyberjaya. That's where I'm staying. So yeah, this bike as an overall has been excellent. No complaints about the fuel or the mileage. And technically as an overall package, I think the QJ Motor SRK 250RR does amazing. So almost reached my destination. My Airbnb is like 5 minutes from this destination. This part of Cyberjaya is very active and beautiful. Good to be back. It was a good run. Cyberjaya feels very calm and quiet. I absolutely enjoyed my stay here. I'm willing to move to Kuala Lumpur tomorrow, so let's see how it goes. So I finally finished my ride from Port Dickson to Cyberjaya. The QJ Motor SRK 250R was an absolute bliss to ride with. And a special and big shout out to LS2 Helmets Bangladesh and Project 1 for making this amazing project come to life. This was not only content, but this was a creative way to import cultural data. And we're going to come up with a lot more with the upcoming probable bikes in Bangladesh. So do stay connected with us in our socials. Till next time guys, thank you so much. Ride safe and always wear your helmet.